Hey everyone, happy Monday and welcome to another episode of Day in the Life of Vintage Classic Specialist. So let's talk about what happened today on this beauty here. So Rafa finished putting the rest of his flags in. Let's take a quick peek at those. Yeah, pretty much all little German flags from different cities and so on. It's kind of a cool little touch. The owner really loves these. I think he's had similar ones on most of his buses, and he has had mini buses. So this is kind of his deal, is having those like that. And the other thing he really likes are these various badges. So those went on today. You can see these here. All pretty freaking cool. And around this side, now that we have a roof rack that fits, so there you go. Yeah, those all went on, which doesn't sound like a big deal, but it kind of is, because none of these badges come with any kind of mounts. And so basically, I think you can probably see there from the back side, Rafa pretty much made a custom mount for each of these badges. So, pretty much cutting it out of a piece of, I don't remember if he was using aluminum or what, but cutting it out, putting the holes in the right place, and then putting a hole for the mount up there that clamps around the bar. So yeah, pretty time consuming when you're making 8 of these things from scratch, and each one again is different. I don't think any 2 were actually the same. So pretty much making 8 different little mounts for all these badges, but that's what the owner likes, so that's what he gets, and it looks pretty cool. Just gives it a really cool kind of custom touch, makes it look like it's traveled around a lot with the flags and the badges and stuff, even though it's literally gone nowhere yet. But he does plan to drive this bus, so yeah. So those are there, and I think those were kind of the main things that he did on this bus today. So I think tomorrow I'm finally gonna take this thing for a quick cruise up and down the parking lot. And again, I gotta let the rear suspension settle a little bit. The car's been jacked up and down a bunch of times, so it's nowhere near settled. It'll settle down some more once we drive it, but as you can see, it's still got way too much camber on the back. So back's probably got to come down like an inch or so. I don't know. We'll see after it settles. I'm guessing it's going to be something like an inch. And then the bus is pretty level, so the front's probably going to need to come down about the same amount. But that's what I'm going to figure out tomorrow and probably do. And I'll be honest with you guys, I'm not looking forward to it. It's a ginormous pain in the ass to re-index the spring plates on these things. So there you go. But got to do it. This guy is ready for his bus, and we've got a customer waiting to bring his bus in. So yeah, anyway, that's pretty much what happened on this one today. For me, I mainly worked on the blue buggy today. And as you can see, it has its hood on it. It's just sitting on it, although I have drilled a hole on each side to mount it down, because what I really needed to do was to do this, to put a hole here for the gas filler. And so again, this is one of those like measure 10 times, drill once kind of deals. So I had this hood off and on this car probably at least a dozen times, test fitting it and actually bolting it down on just like one screw on the sides to get it to sit down, because they don't really want to sit down on their own. You have to kind of force them down. So force each side down, drill a hole, get a screw in it, do the same to the other side, make sure that it's sitting properly here like that, which it is, and yeah, make sure it's in the right place before we even think about figuring out where to put this hole here. And then likewise, the gas tank, put it in and pretty much centered the gas tank in its hole so it can go left and right and forward and backward some. And so what I did was I centered it best I could, again, front and back and left and right, so that if this hole in the actual hood ended up a little bit off, we could kind of tweak the tank one way or the other to accommodate it. And it turns out it was really, really close when I finally had the put the hole in here and put it back on. I think I might have moved the tank maybe like a 1/16 of an inch or so. I don't even remember which way it was, left or right, but I mean, it was super, super, super close. I was very happy with how that came out. So again, measuring all those times, taking my time. As you can see, the tank has to come up some because the thing is basically flush right now, so no room to put a cap on there. So a couple options for that. One is to cut the neck and either re-weld it a little higher or use like a silicone hose and extend it that way. Or the other is to actually raise the tank up a little bit so that the tank is not sitting flush. We'll pretty much add something between the tank and the body to raise the tank up, probably like 1/2 inch or so would be enough. And you can see the filler there. So there it is. It's already been like welded and stuff because, you know, obviously this is not the standard location for the filler for Volkswagen Beetle tank. So somebody's already done some welding on it, but we could cut it where that lower weld right there is and then extend it out and then re-weld it, or again raise it from the bottom, the whole thing. I don't know, we'll see. We got a few good options here, but the main thing was really just figuring out where that damn hole goes and getting it in. And so that was pretty nerve-wracking. So in addition to that, before I did that, what I did was I finished wiring up the headlights. I mean, they don't have the connectors on them, but let me get back to 1X here. Sorry, there we go. So they don't have the connectors on them, which is just like some connectors that Wolfsburg West sells that have these spring-loaded things. You strip the ends of the wires and they clip. Actually, here's one. Yeah, these things are cool. So each of these, for each of the 3 wires, is spring-loaded. You push that in, you put the wire in with the wire end stripped, and then let that go, and it makes a really nice connection. So just short one of these for that side. But up underneath here, this is all wired up. So before I hadn't finished this wiring here, so this part of the harness goes here, up into the headlight in the bottom here, and then over to the turn indicator here. So pretty much finished up all this wiring down here, and then went ahead and put in and connected the steering here and added the wire for the horn, which on these goes from the steering box side. The wire picks up ground there and then runs all the way through the steering tube, the steering shaft rather, up to the horn button. That's how this circuit works. So yeah, I did that, and then had to add a ground on each side because nothing's grounded on these basically plastic bodies. So added a ground that's common on the shock tower, kind of hidden behind the eye of the shock tower here, and that feeds ground to both the headlight and the turn indicator on both sides. So yeah, finished up all the stuff under here before I went ahead and put in the gas tank. Connected a ground down in here, which you can't see because it's dark, but that ground leads to this part of the harness here to supply a ground to the dash, because again, everything on the dash needs a ground from somewhere because everything else is plastic. Anyway, so yeah, finished up all that stuff, and then that's when I started like test fitting the hood, the gas tank, and then finally kind of took the plunge and drilled this, and there we go. So that was kind of a big deal and fairly nerve-wracking. Glad to have that behind me. So this car, it was Christmas for this car today, and it's bitchin' looking set of Sprint Stars. These are empty Sprint Stars, came in with a staggered fitment. So 8-inch deep dish for the back. These things just look amazing. I love these wheels, and I can't wait to see them on this car with some tires. Look at how deep that thing is. It's amazing. It's gonna look killer. And then the front ones are 5 inches wide, and they have a little bit of a lip on them, but the lip is, probably like that, not this big, drum of a thing here. So yeah, I got those today, the full set of 4 here. And then a bunch of other random stuff like lug nuts and wheel studs. I put studs and nuts on it instead of lug bolts like a regular Volkswagen. And yeah, pulleys and some stuff like that. It also got a 36 horse style fan shroud, which you can see right there. Going to put that on it, so we're not running any heat or anything like that, so wanted the look of a nice clean 36 horse style fan shroud. So and then this is his long block here, which we got last week. Brian Roth put that together for us. So I'm probably in the next couple days gonna start test fitting the tin on this motor. So again, I'm gonna be using his original cylinder tins and then the aftermarket fan shroud. Being a buggy, that's about the only tin these engines get. So it's going to pretty much look like this. You got a cylinder tin on each side, fan shroud, that's about it. So yeah, start test fitting that, make sure it's all going to fit. Sometimes the fan shrouds need a little bit of love to get them to fit right. And then all that will go off to powder coating. And then when that comes back, then you can turn this long block into an actual motor. So that's kind of exciting. I'm hoping that my interior guy that I'm going to use for this job is going to start on the seats maybe tomorrow. I don't know. We'll see. He's been a little flaky lately. His work is amazing, but sometimes he's a little flaky. And the owner came by today. Let me make myself around here, make my way around here. And he agreed on the vinyl that we wanted to run, which was this one. I don't know if you can see. Got kind of a nice texture to it, kind of an old school looking texture, and it's a little bit creamy looking. It's not like a real bright white, so that's what we're going to use on the seats. And again, we're going to continue with the biscuit pattern that the original seats had on it, and the back seat will also have that biscuit pattern. So it's going to look amazing. Just you guys wait. So I think that is pretty much it today. Oh, I think this is more parts for this buggy. Maybe, oh, I know what this is. This is an alternator. So we bought a new 55 watt alternator for him, or 55 amp rather. And yeah. So that's it for today, guys. Appreciate you watching. Unfortunately, Rafa is going to be out the rest of the week. He's got some things he's got to take care of. So I will be here by my lonesome the rest of this week, except in the afternoons, at least some of the afternoons when Mr. Jacob comes in. So anyhow, thank you guys for watching as always, and we will see you again tomorrow. Bye.